What's going on, everybody? Sorry about the huge bump on the side of my face. I have a cyst. Um, Back to the mini bike vlog. On what's the better option on what? Like I'm just seeing a video today, and it was in reference to a guy that bought that new 224 Ghost. Now I'm not saying every engine is not going to have some kind of. You can every now and then have a defect, but it's cool. When it comes down to when you find it, the defect. All right. I wouldn't say personally I would want 224 or 220 or 212 Ghost. I'm cool with the old school versions of what I currently deal with. Like my just so happens I ordered the clutch. I'm sorry, and I got I did order the Max Torque clutch for my Baja Warrior, and I got it in the mail yesterday. I put it on, took the bike around, um, and it lasted. But the some odd reason, it was the issue with the clutch that I had to take care of. The clutch that I had previously on there was off of Amazon. It was a cheap version of a clutch. It was not going to be able to hold up. So what I did was, um, I went ahead and ordered the Max Tour clutch. Got that in the mail. Put that on there. Now it's an issue with the chain. And it's a simple fix. All right. A lot of, like I said, people will think, okay, mini bikes are extremely expensive. Yes, if you're getting into the scene of complete aftermarket builds, then it does get pretty expensive. But if you're just only keeping yours at a budget build rate, like everything I've got, I spend little to nothing on those particular, like this engine or my my frame. I've had my Baja Warrior frame for a couple of years. All right, that's the longest standing frame I've owned. All right, the reason why I've kept that one is because you can't really get a steel frame where you'll be able to do mods. Like what I did was putting that big 420 on it, and my wife was like, she kept saying, "Well, you know what? It's every time you come back, you all of a sudden got to fix something on your bike." True, but that's only when you in the restoration, or I would say building process. You're going to end up having some kind of tweaks and things that you got to weed out, like the chain, the clutch, and all that. This is a 420 on side on a bike that technically was not designed strictly for that. It was just modified. It pulls my Baja Warrior, and the crazy part is, like I said, I didn't get into the gearing whole thing, before, because I thought it was as like, all right, it was too many numbers, and I was really good at math in school anyway. I know how to count now. All right, that's not a problem. It's just the gear ratio. I would have to actually get a chart. That's hands down what it looks like in order to know the exact. But there's so many charts, so that's the only reason why I never really got one yet, because I don't know which one is the most accurate one. And there's also different styles of engines, so that would actually those would play two major parts where it puts you into a dilemma, but you still have to, if you want to learn gear ratio, like I did with my Baja Warrior. People kept saying the back sprocket was too small. No, that's not. That's a 54 back, 54 tooth back, well, 52. I'm sorry. It's at the least a 48. At the least. All right, 48 size sprocket on the back. And on the front, it was 10, but I upped it to 14. So I added four more teeth. Ended up taking four off the back and moving them to the front. That's all you really doing I learned when it comes to gear ratio. That's all you really ever doing. You're either taking away teeth on the back and putting on some on the front, or you're taking away some on the front and putting more on the back. And I'm looking at it as being, the more you put more on the front, you're going to end up getting top speed and acceleration. I would end up definitely losing bottom end. But to be honest with you, with that big 420, it does not feel like I'm losing bottom end at all. If I would have gotten my chain today, right? If I would have known that it was going to need a 420 chain. Right. I ordered the clutch and I slapped that on. Took the bike around. It was actually lasting long enough for me to at least be able to get a little bit of riding in, and I enjoyed it. It was so fun. It blew my hat right clean off. I mean, that bike, I would seriously have to wear my helmet. No lie. The Baja Warrior, I definitely got. I see I'm gonna have to wear the helmet for that. Now I'm starting to really think about when I go to do the build on El Chapo, do the motor swap, and I'm deciding whether or not if I should try to start that now because I had to take that engine off, and that engine is going on to my X1, technically speaking. So that's going to mean that I have to order the piston and the oil rings for that engine. First, I got to take it apart. All right, because we don't want to sit up there and just start ordering parts and don't know, this whole piston right here, it may fit, but it's not needed. The guy said to my neighbor, he was honest enough, and I appreciate that about a lot of people actually don't do that. He's old school like myself, all right, and has morals and standards like myself as well. So I really respect him. When he gave me the motor, he kept it honest with me. He was like, "Look, it smokes." I see that he probably had the motor for a while because it was hooked up to a pressure washer. I see he probably had. He just probably don't feel like working on it. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with it. And it's not no major issue, major damage to the engine. There's no broken internal parts. The engine looks practically brand new. You would not think there was anything wrong with it just by looking at it, not starting it or anything. I haven't even attempted to start it yet. Which we're going to actually have to try to do to see about the smoking, what kind of smoke it is. We could probably just clean out the carburetor. That's what it might could be. You never know. He said it's just smoking, or it could be oil. The oil rings are burnt out. So again, simple fix. It's not like it takes a rocket scientist to be able to. Well, no, it doesn't. I mean, I'm not going to exaggerate and try to say that okay, the mini bikes are that easy to build. No, because as you can see, my X18, it's on my reason that engine. Any engine I put on that frame acts like it does not want to be on there. All right, that piston is slapping real hard, so I'm thinking a max torque clutch and definitely a brand new carburetor will take care of that. We took care of the head pipe issue, but I would prefer to probably just. I gotta actually order some jets because it seems like I'm gonna have to play with the whole setup when it comes down to not just the gearing but the carburetor too, making sure it's getting enough gas. And it sounds like my Baja Warrior, right, doesn't want to kick out a whole lot of gas. I don't know if it's the jet may be too small because when I got it finally to where the idle on its own and it won't take off on me. So I can start it even in a run state. It idles enough to be able to start and won't take off. So we're going to look into some jets probably eventually for that. But like I said, this cup of tea the whole time. But we want to weed out any kind of internal issues because these engines, why I like them so much and why I really get down with any kind of fully automatic engine. I really, not just any, all right. I really more mess with like Hondas, Predators. I do not really, I'm not a fan of Tecumsehs. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think I ever will be. Those engines, I didn't really, and it's not that they don't kick out a lot of power, because they do, right? But it's just certain builds we can do at a time. I had a Tecumseh engine. It was alright, but I wasn't a fan. I can tell you guys that much. I was not a fan of that engine. I was kind of like reluctant to even work on it. I got it along with the frame that it came on. I felt like Tecumsehs were a little bit too they give you way more problems to me what they're worth. All right. But some people are well experienced in working on them and prefer those over a 212 Predator or even a Duramax or a Tillerson, which Tillerson is in a class of their own. All right. Just like Predator is in a class of their own. Honda is hands down. And of course, the top choice. Anybody would choose a Honda engine, even if it's not running. And the fact that I ended up having two now, I have one 200cc and then I have 390. I might end up putting an electric start on the Baja Warrior because that pull starter, it runs and everything. It just you gotta be careful with it. Once that bike gets started, then it's cool. I gotta still straighten out the kill switch, which I never got around to. But I'm gonna wait till I get my chain, which will be here tomorrow. So when I get off work tomorrow, we'll go ahead and pull the bike back out and put the chain on, and as well as tweak the issue with the kill switch. But overall, the bike is to go. Yeah, we got to also put the. I would love to pull it out today, which I might end up doing to put the gas tank down permanently. Not permanently, but you know, putting it in there so that I ain't got to worry about the gas can falling over or anything like that. It'll be completely onto the frame. Because that's not going to stay on that bike. I plan on taking that gas tank off and moving it to El Chapo once I do the big block build. Hold up. Now that I think about it, that gas tank on my Honda engine, on my big block Honda, that's exactly the same size as the one that I had on El Chapo. I'm sorry, not El Chapo, that 420 Simpson. So I might as well, break even. But if anything, this gas tank, it somewhat holds. It's not like it doesn't hold at all. It's a nice little 2 liter gas tank. Um, but like I said, I would prefer a motorcycle gas tank because that means I don't have to fill it up with gas. I can fill it up with gas probably for 1 week. Now, if I lived in Kentucky, I could be riding my bike around as transportation too. But that's not the outcome. Me and my family, we live in Ohio, so hey, it is what it is. I try to obey laws and all that. And plus, it ain't safe, period, to be riding on most public roads. You ain't got to worry about you. You got to worry about most of the drivers. Not putting the blame on them, but it's just bad place at the wrong place at the wrong time type, situations and unfortunate circumstances managed to come out of it with a loss of life, of course. You know, I got into an accident, but I didn't get hurt. So, like with my Baja Warrior, I try to keep it. I try to keep all of the speed and everything all within perspective, and that means I don't want to sit up there and just take the bike when I first start riding it like I did yesterday. Man, that thing got up. I rode it all around. I ran the gas out of the tank pretty much. Definitely, I ran the gas out of the tank. I can assure you that. But it held up for a little while. And plus, the gas tank wasn't really filled because most of it spilled out because the gas tank kept constantly falling over. So I'm gonna stop being stubborn, and I ordered that bracket for that specific reason. I'm gonna just drill a hole through the frame, you know, and then put the bolts through for that bracket so where I could put the gas tank completely in there and then bolt it down. So like I said, it won't move at all. And I can finally ride it without having to worry about the gas tank sliding when you go to take a hard turn. Now this is the dilemma. The max torque clutch holds up. We're going to see once we get the 420 chain how well it'll be able to, it does give it a little bit, like it heats a little bit, but not nowhere near as much, right? I think I might end up trying to get the clutch Cerakoted so it could be heat resistant. from all the friction, because with metal, regardless of how much you do, what friction causes heat. You can't avoid that. That's like a rite of passage for the engine, and that's a powerful engine. I had to dial it down. The guy said that he had a cement mixer and it shot a piece of. Show me a video. It shot a piece of cement that was in a container that the thing was hooked up to the motor. It shot it through the ceiling. Then he looked at me and I looked at him. Right, it was one of those, and I'm not lying to you guys. I felt like it was one of those How High moments. That movie, How High. Shout out to Method Man, Red Man too. Um, these guys, me and him just looked at each other, and then he said to me, "You sure you want to put this thing on a mini bike?" I was like, it was so awkward because I ain't gonna lie to you. It felt like he was dead on, right of leading to a good point. Do I? Because we talking about mass power here now. This is a 13 horsepower engine. I own now two 13 horsepower engines. Well, one is a 420, one is a 390, technically speaking. But either way you look at it, both of them are powerful. It does not say my other ones aren't. And I would neglect my Hemis. I don't know. I started off with Hemis. I'll never neglect my Hemi engines. I'll never neglect none of my other bikes. As you guys can see, I just want to get all of them fixed and running. Now, I would love to just, when I do the work on El Chapo, like putting the bolts on the back wheel and putting the chain on and doing the rest of the head work. But anyway, doing the rest of the head work, that'll only be to ride him this summer. Now, I would love to have made one of these bikes a two-seater, because that way I could let my youngest daughter ride on one. My wife can ride one, and I'll ride the other one. The other two are in the process of getting built. One can't, the X1 can't be built right now due to the fact that we ended up getting that other 13 horsepower engine. And I don't want to have to go out here and buy a brand new engine just for that. But I have now six engines. Okay, 5 frames. Now the sixth engine, right? That is going up under the knife. All right. I'm trying to remember which block did I choose to do that on. I think it was the Honda block. I believe it was the Honda block that I was going to do it on. So we're going to take that Honda GX200 block, and that thing is going to be built into an animal, and not an overkill. We want to try to get to a maximum of 20 horsepower out of that block, because it's going to go on a drag bike. Now it's going to be like some mild type of drag racing, not anything major. It'd be like not even barely a quarter-mile stretch. Barely. So something to kick around on for speed. And how I plan on doing it, the wheel that's on El Chapo, that wheel eventually is coming off. That bike has another separate chopper back wheel, a street tire, where both front and back is going to be street. So once we take that wheel off El Chapo, we're going to be putting that onto the drag bike. We got an X1 front wheel that we're going to use as well. We just had to decide. I'm really going more with a pocket bike style, drag bike. Uh, I don't really want to do the normal traditional style. I had a Coleman stretched out that was a drag bike, but I didn't really too much kick it with the style. And I don't like that whole I put padding. I can't deal with that metal on ass, metal on behind. Does not work out for me. You know, I'm a skinny dude and I already got to deal with it. Deal with it as enough as it is. So to take care of that, we're gonna just put some regular padding down. Um, I won't be starting that until because I'm not, like I said, the parts I'm gonna get a governor removal kit, but I'm trying to get this built. Whereas I have to eventually have another place to be able to store my bike, so my shop is gonna have to get moved to a shed, so that way we have more space in that shop. Whereas where we're gonna build the drag bike, the engine and all that. We're gonna start with the engine first, work all of that out. We're not gonna worry about getting a frame right now because one, they're going to be a little pricey. So I didn't, like I said, I want to try to. I had a frame that I was going to use, but I threw it away. So, which is okay. It gives us a canvas to be able to start with what kind of bike we frame style. I'm leaning more towards, like I said, a pocket bike style, drag bike. Stretched out swing arm, nice aftermarket racing shocks, a completely rebuilt Honda block engine. No none of that electric start. It's gonna be a traditional pull starter. Um, just I mean, I'm going straight crazy with it. I'm gonna use a factory gas tank. That's it, a factory gas tank. Um, it won't be something that's a really majorly flashy engine. What I mean is like I'm gonna take the side cover off and everything off, and I want to try to see if I can get the block sandblasted, find it somewhere, or if I have the space, then I'll see about trying to get a sandblaster and sandblast the block and try to repaint the block, as well as I'm definitely repainting this shroud cover and the pole starter. So we're going to put a cam in it, a brand new flywheel, deleting the governor, everything. We're going to take a Hemi head, porting it and polishing it, and putting up a permanent exhaust adapter on it, and then that's going to go onto that block. So it's going to be a nice little drag bike. I would have did a four wheeler, but nah, cool. That's it, guys. Peace in the Middle East.